6 days before Christmas 1938, just as the German assault troops have managed to break through Fengtian defensive lines, occupy two strategically important supply hubs, and cut off the main force of the Fengtian from supply, and are poised to destroy them, the Japanese Empire has declared its entry into the war. We will try to do as much damage as we can and potentially destroy as many of the Fengtian troops as we can before Japan itself actually enters the war. Strategically, we are holding the supply hub in Chaoyang, and once we take Chengde, all these troops are completely out of supply. Then once we take the railway junction here, the road to Shenyang is pretty much open, and we will have a relatively good defensive line against any kind of Japanese incursion coming in from Korea. So the target will be to push the assault towards the river line in the northeast here, and potentially threaten the capital of Shenyang. We will see how quickly the Japanese troops come in. They could also be landing through Port Arthur, so that'll remain to be seen. For now, we do have aerial superiority over the terrain. Our fighters are dealing with some Japanese planes that are already showing up in the air, as well as enemy bombers and fighters. Meanwhile, syndicalist fanatics have dug in and fortified their mountain positions between Genoa and La Spezia, and are giving our troops, despite our numerical superiority, a very, very hard fight, and are ardently refusing to surrender. Our mountain troops, which are specialized in this kind of warfare, now that it's starting to become winter, will need to be bolstered and will have to lead the charge going forward if we are to have any chance of finishing this before the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Serbian breakout in Bulgaria has led to their remaining troops being destroyed piecemeal. Romania is falling, and after that last pocket of resistance is wiped out, we will move south, and we will start launching an assault into Greece. Given that we have no specialized mountain troops here and that the terrain is relatively inhospitable, especially in winter, we might try to run an assault through the east here, and potentially get into the mountains behind enemy troops if we can push through, potentially cut them off from supply. Their main supply position seems to be near Larissa here, so if we can take that off them, then all the troops in the north should be without supply, and so that will be the goal. But before we do that, it's time to decorate some generals, because we do have some command power, so it's about time we'll go through and see if anyone here has some good upgrades we can get. Who do we have? Von Vollert-Bockelberg, who is leading the Bulgarian volunteers, has two traits that we can take. He is an artillery leader. I could go for artillery expert or fortress buster, but I think artillery expert is the more general trait. That said, do we have any major fortification to contend with on the French front lines? I don't think so. I think the fortifications are mainly on our side. So same story on the Russian front line, and I think that about decides it. So I think the better choice here is the artillery expert. And how about the Chinese front, because that's where most of the fighting is going to happen right now. We currently have the Chinese volunteers under von Hammerstein-Eckwart, and he has the defensive doctrine. That is not something we can necessarily change, but we can go for charismatic and increase the division recovery rate. That is a good one. And we've got one more upgrade, so let's see if we have anything good to get. No, it's just guerrilla fighter. Entrenchment speed's not something I'm super keen on. I'd rather see if von Manstein is going to pick up something else that we can, from which on we can build up. So we'll see about that. How about the Nanjing Volunteers? They're under List. List does not have, he only has the Hill Fighter trait. It brings us back to, that brings us over to Italy actually. Do we have any upgrades available here? No. Sicilian Volunteers, we would have, yeah, we can get Kesselring an infantry expert. So that's he is an infantry officer, so that is only natural. So let's give him the infantry expert, and then we're done with that. Medals not yet being awarded, simply because I'm going to need my political power elsewhere. But the infiltration of the civilian administration has been completed, and we are preparing to steal some blueprints by getting in with some diplomatic passports, shaking off the counterintelligence trail, and then use reference to gain some employment in middle management, steal things, then lay low, blend in, and see if we can make our way out by giving important information to the German government. So, yes, Mountaineers, the Gebirgsjäger divisions that are currently engaged in Italy, and I think we'll wait until that particular fight is over here, because I think they are actually engaged at this point. Yes, they are. So, don't necessarily want to. We'll see if we can win this fight, but it looks. If we can get the Alpenkorps and the 37th Infantry in here still and get these kicked out, but mostly the air is doing the works here, and it's not our air actually, but there are friendly bombers active, so that'll eventually dislodge them, but we will need to boost the Gebirgsjäger troops quite a bit. On other news, how's our inventory stock? We've got 1,000 artillery pieces. That's not going to be enough. How many do I have on artillery? We've got 10 on artillery right now. We can convert a couple of the older guns, but I'd rather build up more of a stock. We're starting to fill out the Panzerkampfwagen 3 and the Waffenträger 3. Very, very slowly. So eventually the new mobile Panzerdivision will be ready. Eventually, they're still very short on tanks and on self-propelled artillery, obviously. And yes, they still need to be upgraded as well. And we will convert the older tank divisions too. Other than that, we've got engineers 2 coming in a month. That'll allow us to build flame tanks. All right, so let's get back to the action for now. And I think the most important point at this stage is China. We could attempt a breakout. Let's see. We could attempt a breakout here and try to encircle these 5 divisions. I think that's a pretty good start. So let's try an assault here. And yeah, the Mark Click has joined the Chinese United Front. Okay, so we are gonna get reinforcements of our own relatively quickly. We are just holding the. And Shaanxi and the Qing government everyone has ended the hostilities. Nice. So all the troops that have been active, and it looks like we might have gained some ground here actually. All the troops that have been active are probably going to be coming in against Japan very quickly. I am assuming the Japanese are going to start some naval invasions near around the East Coast. I hope that I can leave the Chinese to deal with that, but we might have to ferry troops south ourselves. We can push we've got 2 divisions The 84th and 187th, which are the 185th is exhausted, but these two can, after the counterattack has been defeated, push into Changde. And we are still trying to clear out the remaining troops here. I think, yeah, we're sending Marines in as well. The Guangzhou government has joined the Chinese United Front as well. So things are on the move. So we'll have to move quickly and get our positions consolidated here before the Japanese arrive. Just keep an eye on potential naval invasions. It's obviously from Formosa that would be a possibility, or from the north, or just any naval invasion along the east coast. Germany is how are the Germans doing here now that they have been given additional guns? Yeah, they now actually have sufficient rifles after I have sent over stocks from my side to make this happen. So that's good. Bulgaria. Okay, we have managed to destroy the last remaining Serbian troops. Are we needed in the north? I don't think so. I think the Bulgarians can actually handle that. Famous last words, but I am more tempted. How's the supply situation in the south? Okay, it's dreadful. We have a supply hub here in Skopje, but attacking from the south isn't going to work. So what we're going to do is position here, not actually along the full line. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's correct. The position there, and then we will eventually launch an offensive all the way towards Athens. And for now, we'll just get the troops to move there. So please take the railroad. And Serbia has capitulated. Yes. So that was the final straw. That I am not sure why these troops have managed to cut themselves off there. Should we move north instead of attacking Greece, just to make sure we're finishing this off? I don't trust the Bulgarians to do this correctly. How many Romanian divisions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2 encircled, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we will have to. I think we will have to finish this ourselves first. So let's get the troops diverted here first, and make sure that we are that we're finishing the north. Then we'll have additional troops to push into Greece as well. Okay, Italy's situation. Yeah, we are not getting through this. Honestly, it's winter. The troops are entrenched. And we are not pushing them out from there. Even the mountain divisions are not getting anywhere. So let's stop the futile attacks for now. And actually change the Gebirgsjäger troops to be somewhat more sensible. We have some army XP at this point. So they do need engineers, definitely. And I generally go for something around 30 odd-ish combat width. So let's fill out these, and let's get another infantry battalion in. How are we looking? 20, 22, 24, and then artillery and 2 artillery for 30. Yes, it's not 100% ideal because it's I think 75 combat width, but we can potentially throw another artillery in or something else later. We've got artillery, we've got engineering, and we could throw for 10% movement, cavalry recon. We can throw that in as well. That is already costing a lot of my experience. So that should hopefully give the mountain divisions sufficient firepower to finish things off over in Italy. If I had self-propelled artillery, still probably wouldn't be using it because it's not great. So just regular artillery should be sufficient. So that's our new Gebirgsjäger division, and we will get them to receive reinforcements. That'll take a little bit of time, but then hopefully they'll be able to crack the Italian situation there. Back to China, where we have taken Chengde, and the divisions in the north here are relatively weakened. So we can, and they are out of supply. So we'll keep pushing. We'll see if we can manage to effect the encirclement here. And the Ottoman Empire has declared war on the Sultanate of Egypt. Oh dear. Things are kicking off very, very rapidly at this point. We're at 66% world tension. So with, I think that has just kicked off. These two events have just kicked off a massive increase. So the Ottomans would like to. Or the Ottomans are going up against Egypt, and that means we are probably going to be facing war at home relatively soon. So let's see how that's working out. Which means I am probably going to stop. Yes, I think at this point we're going to stop exercising the fleet. Get everything back home and repaired. I was hoping that we could get some fleet upgrades in still. But let's make sure that, and you too, let's make sure that everyone gets necessary repairs underway. Let's get them all in. Yeah, you too, and just making sure that everyone is equipped and ready. For that, we probably need to delegate. We're going to need to delegate a couple more. We're going to get actually 25 on repairs. 20. That should not jeopardize the main production lines. So all the Navy back in for repairs, and the Army needs to dig in, which means we are. I really wanted to get the. I wanted to get the Kaiser Wilhelm Society. But it sounds like we might do the Alsatian forts first, after the Sekretariat for Arbeitsbeschaffung. Let's see for how long we can still actually effect the war here. Before, and yeah, I think that is... let's assist with the destruction here. Yes, it's across a river, I know. It's not ideal, but they are encircled. I don't know for how long we can still conduct the war here before things get out of control. Okay, the Mitteleuropa Commission Summit. We have a choice of agenda. Delegates from all Mitteleuropa states gather in Berlin for biannual discussions. Proposal put forward by the chairman has found no competition, and so it will be implemented. We are doing a Mitteleuropa arms export, which reduces production cost on artillery, infantry, weapons, and armor, which is great. So we'll take that. And that takes care of the previous one. Appeal against escalation. As tensions grow between Germany and France, it is not the nationalistic fervor of 1914 that the nations are feeling, but rather a growing dread and pessimism. Memories of the trenches loom in the minds of older citizens. To save Europe from the brink of the war, the Bund Neues Vaterland, the leading anti-war organization in Germany, it's like Union of New Fatherland, has petitioned the government to initiate peace talks with France and Britain, or at least try to avoid any conflict. The signatories of the address include prominent pacifists such as Kurt Grossmann and Albert von Einstein, the Albert von Einstein, but also a large number of influential figures from social democratic and Christian democratic circles. This is actually funny because Einstein was not having a Nobel title because, well, he left, obviously. But given that the original Machtergreifung didn't happen, he's actually still here, and he's now Albert von Einstein. Even if we do not truly believe in de-escalating the situation, it might still be useful to at least try to delay the conflict. Our military build-up has been delayed by the recent economic woes, and any amount of additional time to prepare is favorable. If we can keep the peace in the West for some more time, perhaps it will also dissuade Russia's aggressive posturing for now. Yes, definitely. We are going to arrange a conference, and we will try to delay the inevitable. Let's see how that works out. If not only just for the fact that we need to finish off the civil wars here, and the Italian civil war, for example. That might still turn. You never know. Okay, troops are... Where are my troops? Troops are still actually railroading towards the north, where we have to finish this off. Yeah, this is something I would like to finish as well. And obviously, we do have to be careful with the Chinese situation, where everything is relatively heated. Okay, Venezuela declared war on the West Indies Union. Oh, okay. That was the syndicalist uprising here with the West Indies Union, and Venezuela is now joining in on that one, unfortunately. And war in the desert. That's the Turkish situation. Arab nationalism and Turkish imperialism has finally found themselves at odds, as talk over the Sinai-Palestine issue have collapsed after Egypt marched its army through the Sinai Desert. Oh, that's why they're suddenly controlling the channel, the Suez. Nominally united until 1914, the two leading powers in the Middle East are now set on a course to decide the destiny of the Middle East. Even as the Egyptians can count on an array of allies on the other Arab states, many fear that it won't be enough, as the military and economic capacity of the Turkish Empire, for now, still vastly outclasses that of its rival. Foreign investors look to the conflict with fear, as well as the oil reserves of the Middle East have become more important than ever with the collapse of authority in the United States. And that pushes the world tension up by 6. And I think we've already factored that in. I hope. It actually says 8, but... or was that not 8? No, it should have been 8%. So... yeah, not sure. Unless that just takes over now, and it doesn't. Okay, so we're still at 66%. Mountaineers are waiting for reinforcements. And waiting for manpower reinforcements. Troops are stationed along the lines, but we are certainly not ready yet for a war with France, if it comes to that. Meanwhile, we are pushing. We're trying to squeeze as much territory out of the situation in China before Japanese troops arrive. We're waiting for Chinese reinforcements. And we have captured a British operative, Horatio Fisher. Yeah, we have ways of making him talk. Definitely noticing an uptick in activity there. They are low on. Yeah, they're very low on supply, and we have bombers in the air. But it is actually relatively hard to push through the hills. If they could send some reinforcements in, that would be much appreciated. Yes, no, they don't. Because we are still holding the railway here, and I can't abandon this position. So for now, we're just destroying the last remnants here in the rear lines, while Chinese reinforcements are coming up, and we are trying to close the gap now that we are holding the supply hubs. But the Fengtian are fiercely resisting. How's our air situation? Okay. We are now fighting over the Fengtian air zone, which means I am going to, given that we're still facing opposition over North China, but I can't really get my fighters up there because I don't have sufficient. I don't have sufficient air support, because this is from the provinces and the Qing government, and this is Qing government in the north. So right now over the Fengtian air zone, Our bombers are going to be facing Siamese bombers and planes. Okay, even if we take an airport here, that is not going to be sufficient to make that work. How is the situation looking in Bulgaria? Okay, troops need to recover. The commune gets slowly getting squeezed, and the Italian mountain divisions still haven't been reinforced, so we're gonna have to wait for that. Okay, so let's focus on China for the time being, and we are waiting for 150 political power to make something happen. Significant forces still on the front lines here, so they're not to be underestimated, but lots of Chinese forces flooding in now. And South Africa has descended into civil war. Let's have a very quick look at that. They were actually syndicalists, so that is not bad. So we now have the hang on, no, that's Middle Africa. South Africa and Southern Rhodesia are now at war with each other. I think they are not I thought they were syndicalists. Interesting. So that seems to no longer be the case. Anyway, we'll leave them to that, as long as it doesn't kick off the Weltkrieg. Let's see how that goes. How's our repair queue looking? We have a fair amount of ships to repair, so we are almost maxing it out, but we hopefully should get through that relatively quickly. So all the small damage from exercises is being repaired, and the Navy is getting ready for future employment. And we are wiping out the last remnants here. And things in South Africa are not going well. The start of the Third Boer War. Resentment between the Dutch and British colonists in South Africa has been brewing under the surface ever since the end of the Second Boer War, with the former mostly pursuing South Africa's divorce from the British Empire, with the latter seeking to keep it as close as possible. Renewed conflict was perhaps unavoidable from the start. Leveraging their majority among the electorate, the Afrikaners have declared South Africa an independent republic under the leadership of Dr. D.F. Malan. The English-speaking provinces of Southern Rhodesia and Natal soon after declared their loyalty to the empire and secession from the republic. Intervention appears increasingly likely. Can the British finally pacify South Africa permanently, or will the Boers recover the independence they had to give up in 1902? So the Republic of South Africa seems to be vastly larger and is going to be fighting the remnants of British loyalty here. Okay. Not sure how the Turkish are doing, because the Turkish still have the Kurdish uprising to deal with as well. Still don't have reinforcements, and troops have arrived, but they do need to recover. So back to China. We have yet to see Japanese troops anywhere, so we'll keep a close eye on it. But we're making slow progress here, and we do have air support, so that should work. Okay, Kurdistan was the next. Kurdistan has capitulated, and the Copenhagen conference. It is already a small victory that Germany, Britain and France have accepted to meet in peaceful terms. The delegations have met in Copenhagen, hosted by Christian X, and have decided to talk through the most pressing issues between the countries and seek solutions for them. Russia has sent an observer, but they denounced the negotiations themselves as a mere ploy by Germany to play for time. They are not wrong. Austria, however, has enthusiastically supported the endeavor and is represented by the charismatic Count Richard von Coudenhove-Calgary, who has been for some time one of the leading figures among pan-European peace movements. The German delegation is led by the star of their diplomatic service, Adolf Georg von Malzahn. The French and British delegations are led by Léon Blum and Harold Nicholson, respectively. Despite radical differences between the respective governments of the participants, it does seem like the talks started out in good faith. The most pressing issue for Germany is the International's covert support to militant socialists in Germany and their allies. I would even argue the most pressing issue for Germany is the fact that the Third International is looking for world revolution. But what do I know? I am not a diplomat after all. This was countered by Britain arguing that Germany is, if not cooperative with, then at least accepting towards the Entente powers, which are openly hostile to the International. A deal was proposed where International withdraws from supporting openly violent groups in Europe and Germany restricts their cooperation and trade with the Entente. In addition, both sides would agree to honor the neutrality of third countries and defer from any aggression towards them. Further transfers of military forces to the Franco-German border would be stopped, and a plan for a possible de-escalation of the entire border region was said to be discussed in the future. Additionally, both Britain and Germany agreed to reduce the amount of their submarines and long-range strategic bombers as long as the other party would do the same. I think... Alright, so let's talk about this. Strategic situation in Europe. Let's have a look. We have the Reichspakt currently spanning from the borders of France all the way to the east of Ukraine and Belarus, with Finland having joined the Moscow Accord after losing against the Soviets, against the Russian Empire, which means that Sweden stands as the northernmost member of the Reichspakt. The International spans from Norway, Britain and France, but we have prevented Italy from falling to them as well, and Ireland is on our side. This means we are in Europe somewhat underprepared because our current strength in Europe consists of basically two armies. We have the First and Second Army, which is definitely not going to be enough to hold all the territory in the east if the Russians come in force. I am reasonably confident that we can hold off the French, however, if it comes to it. But yeah, it's not going to be an easy fight. That is for sure. And if others pick their sides and join, especially we have nobody to support Sweden. So things in the north might get very, very dicey very, very quickly, especially if the British were to support Norway and we would lose Sweden very quickly. I don't know if we could hold Sweden. At the same time, the American Civil War is still raging on. And the syndicalists haven't made their way through just yet, but well, they might still be at this for a while. We have some allies in South America. The bigger threat, though, is Japan, which means if we are going to war now, we are no longer going to be able to send volunteers to the Qing government to support their efforts against Japan, which means the Japanese Empire would potentially, with the help of the Fengtian, overrun China and then threaten German East Asia, which has proven utterly incompetent and hasn't been managing to put down the Indochina situation, especially that the Kingdom of Siam is actually a part of the East Asian co-prosperity sphere, which would threaten our strategic rubber situation. And we also have the difficulty of Azerbaijan being our primary oil producer. Now, with Bulgaria taking things over here, we might have some opportunities for trade. But still, I think we will accept that for now, and we will hope that this will keep things under wraps until we are able to turn, especially East Asia, into a more favorable position. So we accept that. And we have reached an agreement in Copenhagen. After days of intense debating and multiple threats by the French delegate to walk away from the negotiations, a compromise was eventually reached. The controversial agreement was received with relief across Europe, even though very few believe that it would bring lasting peace. Still, a small step towards avoiding the looming war is better than no step at all. Unsurprisingly, hawks in Germany and France have denounced the treaty. The loudest voices in the DVLP have branded the German delegation as socialist sympathizers and traitors, and more radical forces in syndicalist politics have been equally uncompromising. Nonetheless, both sides have committed to at least attempt to follow the de-escalatory measures laid out in the treaty. Now, it's not that I disagree with the DVLP. The syndicalists are a threat. It is about the timing of the whole thing. So this decreases the world tension by 14, significant, and gives me 25 political power, which means we can now hire, and yes, the Copenhagen conference was a success and peace in 1938 has been maintained. We can now hire, I think I was going to go for CERA, for stability, war support, and political power gain. Let's see, especially political power is something that I'm very, very keen on. Eventually Fritz Tano would be good as well. Let's see, stability, resistance, 10% research speed, but would be quite nice as well. That's train and railway. Oh yeah, before we do that, did that complete actually? Yes, that completed. So let's have a very quick look at our production lines and see if the production efficiency cap. Yes, it does. It raises the production efficiency cap for everything. Oh, that is powerful. Okay, those are extremely powerful. That's a 40% boost on production efficiency cap. My gosh. Yeah, wow. We can grab somebody who gives us additional political power. That would be something that is much appreciated. A war industrialist wouldn't be bad either. Because that would significantly speed things up. I'm more concerned, however, with filling out the remaining positions, and we can replace that later on. That is stability, war support, 10% political power gain. Von Malzahn, he was the one who just negotiated the peace. So that would be good. Alternatively. Alternatively, that is also not bad with a 10% stability though. But we are already at 94%, so it is already giving us an 8% political power gain and the factory output and the consumer goods factories. So I might even actually just get Thyssen in for 15% construction speed, because we are definitely still in the path of having to go through a military build-up here. So having an additional 15% construction speed would be good as well. Just in a material situation. Yeah, we'll get Thyssen in. We'll get Thyssen in for now, for the construction, and we'll change that later on. And hopefully that bought us a little bit of time in order to repair the navy. Maybe we can still get the refits in once the fire control has been researched, that I was eyeing. So let's get back to the China situation. Once we have okay, we're actually wide open here. So let's start just marching on the capital, honestly, and we'll just encircle and destroy here. There we go. All right, so that should do the trick. Italy, Mountaineers are still probably waiting for the end of the year for this to happen. And hopefully that gets us the time also to do the Alsatian fortifications. All right, no Japanese troops on the front lines yet, but it's only a matter of time. Syria has joined the Cairo Pact, so they have joined on the Egyptian side. And we are almost done here, and Yemen has declared war as well. Yep, rebellion in Yemen, another blow to the Sultan. And Yemen and the Kurds have made peace. So that means, yeah, the Ottoman Empire is being attacked from all sides at this point. As long as nobody is syndicalist over here, and they are not. Well, neither are the Ottomans, but I am not getting involved here just now. However, there's one a very interesting question, and that is the question of control over the Suez Canal. So Egypt is currently friendly to us, but the Ottomans are more friendly. We may, at some point, want to support the Ottoman Empire and help them against the Egyptians. Do we want to send yet another contingent? We could send another group of volunteers to the Ottomans in order to help them retake the Suez Canal and deal with all the uprisings here that they are currently facing. Having the Ottomans on our side might not be a terrible idea. There is a settling the disputes with the Ottomans, which could get them to join the Reichspakt. So that would be quite interesting, and that means we would have all resource rights in Azerbaijan, and the Ottomans would get the... Yeah, I think we want to send... this means we're going to get another couple of divisions from the... we'll take them off the Eastern Front for now. So I don't want to weaken the Western Front. We have a bit more buffer here in the East. So congratulations. You have just come out of training and you are going to be the Ottoman Expeditionary Force. You are going to be immediately assigned to combat duty. Do I actually have somebody still who is not engaged? I have a commando and a winter specialist. Sending him to the desert is kind of counterproductive. I might as well send Model, I guess. So we'll send Model, and we will ask the Ottomans if they want to have volunteers. Air volunteers as well, and that would be the Ottoman Expeditionary Force. Send them to the desert. And we will see if we can assist in the endeavor. Meanwhile, things in China are still, volunteers on the way. Things in China are moving along slowly, and we have cleared out the last remaining divisions there. Unfortunately, we are all, I think, all a little bit affected by attrition at this point, but. We are slowly making our way through, and the Great Syrian Revolt. Okay, I think we do need to keep a bit of an eye on the African theater here now. Buckled under Turkish rule, the Arab people of Greater Syria have finally decided to throw off the yoke and have joined their Arab brethren in Cairo, fighting for the liberation of the Mashriq and the creation of a new Arab Middle East. Syrians from all religions and ethnic groups are uniting to rid themselves of Turkish rule. Ambitions of individual leaders and disagreements between the various partners of the Cairo Pact, however, may lead to issues should the common thread be dealt with, as the ideas of Greater Syrian independence aren't compatible with Farouk's designs of an Arab state ruled from Cairo. We're definitely going to have to help out the Ottomans. Things do not look great there. Here we are actually breaking through, and we're about to take. Yes, we have taken the capital. So let's just wipe out the last of the troops here. And Romania, never mind. Romania has capitulated. Great, which means that this is 2 out of the 3 countries of the Belgrade Pact dealt with. And that means we can now focus on the Greek situation, where we are going to try and revive Unternehmen Wetzstein. Operation Grindstone. I'm not sure what happened here. Let's redo that. I would like to concentrate here, 4 divisions. And I would like to move on Athens, and it will be probably renamed as... can I rename the offensive order? I think there was a way to do it, but I can't remember. Anyway, we're moving troops south, and finally the Bulgarian civil war is coming to an end here. We are still waiting... The Gebirgsjäger are still waiting for reinforcements, taking a while to get there. But we will already, despite the fact that they're somewhat under strength, launch another assault on the mountain positions, because it looks like the defenders might be running a little low on resources here. Tripolitania has joined the Cairo Pact, so it's another that would be these people. It's an Arab uprising all over the place, and yes, the Syrians have taken Beirut and Damascus. Meanwhile, in Germany, two events have shaken German press this week. First, an incident on the heavily fortified Franco-German border, in which a few French soldiers wandered into German soil and turned back after a stern warning. Second, an article in the Kreuzzeitung, which is the major Prussian press organ, by General Ludwig Beck, which assessed the staggering growth of the Russian and syndicalist armies in size and quality of material, which has gotten the officer to warn that both of the revisionist powers may be ready for another world war sooner than we expected. Though few in the German Empire believed that Paris and Moscow would be content with the post-Weltkrieg order, most civilian politicians assumed that an imperial German army, invincible on the battlefield, would deter any invasion. I think we have disproven that in the civil wars of the last 3 years. Since 1936, economic downturn and political conflict have caused Germany to withdraw deeper into internal affairs, a break with which our enemies used to close the gap masterfully. Our hegemony across Europe seems invulnerable, but is it really? So now we have the war preparedness focus. Okay, so the economic crisis caused by Black Monday and political conflict has left us unprepared for another war. Military reform and industrial expansion should soften the initial blow, but it will happen regardless. And that enables the war preparedness decisions. Where are they? Ostpolitik, foreign policy. I don't see them yet. Oh no, there's the War Preparedness Act. So the world appears to be heading towards a second Weltkrieg. Before the time window closes, we must hastily begin preparations, remilitarization and expansion of our military industry, while the Reichstag passes an act which orders our civilian industry to move a war along. Okay, so for more than 40% world tension, check. We have completed the second Einkreisungstheorie, the encirclement theory, yes. We have completed all these focuses. Industriewerke network has been done. We have done the Wahrprüf or the self-propelled artillery. But 5 decisions in the industrial projects decision category have been finished. That is unfortunate. We haven't done that yet. It does not tell me how many I still have to pass, but that means we have to rapidly. Okay, that means we actually have to go into these. That is unfortunate because I only have 2 available. I think we only finished 1. So if we've got 3 more, that means we need, after the Sekretariat für Arbeitsbeschaffung, which doesn't... it might give me some. Okay, yes, if these fall... This should be enough. If these fall under the industrial projects, then then all our political power has to go to completing these. Unfortunately, that takes 60 days each to do that. So all political power needs to go into doing that in order to prepare us for the Second World War. All right. In China, we are wiping out the last remnants of the Fengtian troops that have been overrun. We still haven't seen any. We still haven't seen the Japanese. Bulgaria. Okay, peace deal has been signed between Bulgaria and Greece. Well, that is great news. That means the war is over. However, Bulgaria has given up appears to have given up all control over Romania and Serbia, which is extremely surprising. I would have thought that. Where are my resources? that they would at least hold the Romanian oil fields. Now, that is very unfortunate that the Bulgarians have not done that, because that means that my fallback plan of trading oil with Bulgaria is not happening. So we are completely dependent on Azerbaijan and on the goodwill of the Ottoman Empire for a land route from Azerbaijan, and that makes our troops in the Ottoman Empire even more important. So this is interesting. I see some demilitarized zones here. So there are 2 demilitarized zones here, but Bulgaria had the upper hand. We had Serbia and Romania capitulated, and we had the Greek on the ropes here sooner or later. But now Bulgaria has, well, capitulated. Not capitulated, but has given up all this control here. And it looks like Romania is still part of the Belgrade Pact. That is an interesting development, very much so. Now we have the Gebirgsjäger with their somewhat reinforced firepower, but still fighting in the winter in the mountains is hard doing. But let's try to finish this as soon as we possibly can. Do we have planes? We've got transport planes. We've got some fighter planes, and we've got some Bf-109s around here as well. So I think we can create another. Oh, these are all mutually exclusive, are they? Okay, the Bf-109B that is currently under production under Focke-Wulf is the one with 495 kilometer range and 37.8 air attack. So what we can do is we can convert the older ones, and we should do that because otherwise I can't actually fit them into air wings. So we are going to create a new air wing, and that is this one. Yes. So these ones are because the air attack doesn't show because this is supremely annoying. The air attack doesn't show because because they're not on missions by some reason, I guess. Is it? Oh no, there's air attack 20. Why does it show at 20? It should be significantly higher. But anyway, these are the modern ones. These are the older ones. These are rubbish planes, so we're not using these. So we're going to build an air wing out of these. We're going to set that to exercise, and we are going to get the other ones converted so they can be backfilled here. How's our repair looking? Repair is looking decent. We can actually, and this is something I wanted to do anyway, we can switch to naval refit yards because we are, how far are we away? 30 days away from improved fire control. So we can, in 30 days, we can start some. Let's fit to naval refit yards. They'll speed up the repairs as well, and we have the naval XP here, so it's not too bad. And the troops from Bulgaria are coming back. Troops in Italy still fighting, and the troops in China are still fighting. So events so far, we have managed to finish off the. We'll talk about the British we'll talk about the British next episode. We have managed to finish off finally the Bulgarian war against the Belgrade Pact. We're still trying to crack the nut in Italy, and we are still fighting in China. So far, no trace of actual Japanese troops in the war, so they might still be en route here. Potentially, or they are not actually trying to go through Fengtian, but are going to try to naval invade, which is also possible. But I might be able to send additional troops to the Chinese United over here. Yep, I can send additional troops to more factions here. So the question is, how many troops do I still want to commit in East Asia? But I think that given that China is now united, probably the Marklik would be the first one that I will send I will send additional volunteers and also the southern Chinese factions. And that way we should be able to crush Fengtian and keep the Japanese out of China. Meanwhile, we are trying desperately to prevent a European war, because not because we don't want one. I mean, it's not that we want one, but we're not ready for one. Anyway, next episode we'll look at what the British want. That's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.